Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Fresh off of the N-Scale convention, we're taking a look at a recent release from Broadway Limited in Paragon 4. It's the N-Scale SD70ACes. I've got several schemes here to look at. As you may know, I am planning an N-Scale force perspective branch line off of this layout at some point. So we're going to take a look at several of these SD70ACes and UP heritage schemes, specifically Norfolk Southern, the Powered by Our People UP scheme, and others. So with that said, let's take a look at what you get in the box. Next.
If you like what you see, please subscribe to the JLWII 2000 channel and leave a like on the video. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll be notified of future train videos.
Alright, I think we will open up and unbox the Denver Rio Grande unit, which is just the most vibrant, I think, of all the units. Now, these boxes, you've got a little humidity pack there in the corner. The locomotive itself wrapped in plastic. If you're looking for the manual, it's tucked away behind the foam. So you pull the foam out like that, and there'll be a bottom piece of foam. And you pull that out, and that's where they tuck the manual away. They do not waste any space in these packagings. And you've got 28 functions crammed into that N-Scale decoder, which is pretty impressive. It's a Paragon 4, so it's improved in a lot of ways. You've got Rolling Thunder and a lot more to cover in this, so let's take a closer look. Alright, so in the interest of time, what we're going to do is go through in detail on just this one SD70ACe, and then the other ones will be shown for their schemes. Then we'll run a few and kind of wrap up this review with final thoughts. So starting on the front of the locomotive, you can see the antenna dome. This is how it was as delivered. As you would call it, the SD70ACe in this scheme when it came out had these domes. And ditch lights above the anti-climber, cup holders, little accessory hoses coming through the plow window, anti-climber, and coupler cut lever. Nicely detailed and pretty straight handrails are on here as well. You can see that better from the side there. There's a cab window sunshade. It's hard to determine. I don't think there's a cab interior, but it's so would be hard to visibly see anyway. It's not a problem in N-Scale. A little windshield wipers finely detailed there as well. You got the trucks, jacking pads here. As you work your way down the handrails, there's the exhaust up top, horn up top, radiator fan grills in the back, and the dynamic fan grill for dynamic braking. Rear walkway, there's a jacking pad back here as well. You can see just out of your picture, I'll move it back in, there's also some tank detail on the gas tank, including emergency shutoff and sight glass. On the back, got, looks like molded in grab irons so a crew can access the roof. It's just so finely detailed, it doesn't really matter. It's hard to see. I almost see some air, some light through some of these grab irons, so it's making me question that, but I'm pretty sure it's molded. But like I said, so finely detailed it doesn't affect anything. Molded into the body. You got a fan grating there that looks pretty realistic. Can show you a view of that from the top. Kind of a see-through appearance on the first two on the radiator fan grills. It's more of like a silver appearance on the third. Brake wheel back here. Crew entry for the back. Back coupler, of course. More fuel tank detail, like I had already mentioned, including some of the plumbing on that. Crew access doors. You can see the UP shield back here, and you can see the molded in detail that makes each compartment door. And back to the front, you've got sand filler hatches in the nose. Talked about the cab sunshades. There's a crew access door molded into the front and molded into handrails in the front as well. So there you have a 360 of the SD70ACe. Here's kind of a dead-on view for you before we turn back this way. Alright, now we kick it into Vanna White mode. We're going to go through the remaining 5 items and show you those in a 360. If there's anything different I notice, I'll point that out, but other than that, we'll just show you what those schemes look like. There are much more schemes than this available out in the marketplace for purchase as well. So they've made quite a few schemes of these SD70ACes, and I would be surprised if there's more to come as well. So you might want to keep your eye on your favorite Broadway limited dealer. Alright, here's a Norfolk Southern Heritage unit. This is Lackawanna, number 1074. One of the differences you'll notice here is they did put the correct PTC antenna array for this Heritage unit on it. That's one variation on this SD70ACe, and Broadway tries to take some time to look at the differences. Rear mounted ditch lights on this unit as well, as opposed to the other unit we looked at, which just had the front ditch lights. So they will make changes accordingly based on the road name and road number. So that's pretty nice looking. Let's move on. Norfolk Southern. Do a 360 of this real quick. Same thing as we were talking about on the last unit. Rear mounted ditch lights and that streamlined PTC antenna array with the bar down the middle and the 2 ice skate antennas. But that is your Norfolk Southern scheme. One thing you'll also notice about this is the yellow, which is just kind of a safety paint for the crews going up the stairs. It really pops on this because the rest is just so jet black, you know. So looks really good. Modern NS SD70ACe. Switching back to the UP Heritage. Same antenna dome as that Denver Rio Grande. This is as delivered version of the Union Pacific Heritage fleet. This is Southern Pacific, number 1996. Southern Pacific merged with UP in 96, and that is why the cab number is that way, and that's how the cab numbers are on all of the Union Pacific Heritage SD70ACes. So there is Southern Pacific. We'll wrap up what I have in UP with the Powered by Our People unit. Some variations here as well from the other UP units. Mostly the modernized UP antenna array, the PTC antenna array up top. Stripe going up the top, Powered by Our People on each side. And then just the scheme has got a lot going on. It's a really vibrant scheme as well. That's UP number 1111. Under the cab is Powered by Our People. Along the side is an American flag and a mosaic of all different areas where UP has people working. You've got people in the field, people in administrative offices, you name it. It's kind of shown here on the side of the locomotive. You got a stripe running down the back here as well, and we can take a look at how well these handrails are holding up. These look really nice for handrails, and in scale they're real straight, but yet really thin, so that's a nice balance to strike there. And again, the absence of ditch lights on the UP versions of the SD70ACE on the rear is one of the spotting differences between the UP and the NS. So other side, more of a mosaic and more different scenes of people working in different fields on the UP railroad. So front, you got your UP wings and shield right there on the cab. So that's a 360 of Powered by Our People. So here is another scheme that you don't see very often. It's the Quebec, North Shore, and Labrador. So QNSNL. And that is an iron ore company out of Canada. So I'll just do a 360 there. It's got the same PTC config as an NS, so you can see that really stand out differently. And the scheme is pretty classic looking, you know, not as busy as the last scheme we looked at by far, but very nice and streamlined, looks good. No ditch lights on the back. You do see the silver tipped end MU hoses on here a little better with this scheme, you can see those. And just give you a 360, kind of a circular logo there. But there's that scheme. So that wraps all that up. As you can see, that took a while. That's why we don't go into more detail on each variation. Alright, finally some operation time. Now for Broadway Limited, you've got an extended startup and shutdown, or you can just move it and it starts. We'll do extended real quick, that's F9. And what you hear at the beginning there is the crew actually walking on the ballast up to the door of the cab, getting in, closing the door, hear the warning bell go off, and the locomotive slowly comes to life as it starts up. So we've got a few functions here we're going to cover. There's 28. There's not enough time to cover all the functions and have a video where I don't have you guys falling asleep. So, you know, 0 is always headlight. You can see that there. 1 is bell. 2 is horn. Now there's an alternate horn if you hit function 22 and then 2. There you go. We'll keep it at that for a second. And then 3 is rear light on and off. So you can run it in DPU mode. F4, 5, and 6 have no function, but you can remap it. 7 is to dim the front headlights. 8 is volume or mute. F9 startup, which we went on. F10, there's a cab light, it says on and off. 11 is ditch lights on and off. So lots of different functions here. 12 has no function. 13 is grade crossing signal. "14 station sounds." You know, with these heritage units, they often do excursions. So 15's yard chatter, 16's maintenance chatter, 17's radio check chatter, 18's radio, city radio chatter. So there are all sorts of different functions. 20's industrial sounds, 21's lumber mill sounds. We'll try just one of those. So you just hear background noises and it really makes your layout come to life, which Broadway Limited, they have a lot of fun with this stuff. And we do too, and it's good to hear stuff like that. Track sounds, you can toggle on and off. A long whistle, a long horn, you can toggle, or you can hit with F25. F26 is a macro playback. You can basically record a sequence with F27 and then play it back with F26. The locomotive will go through sequences by itself. So it's pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and show you another one in action, but this time we're taking a look at speed. It's one speed step there. So it moves off the gate pretty quick. There's 2 and 3. So definitely pretty smooth. Let's go in reverse at 1, 2, and 3 here. Oops, jumped off too fast here. There's 1. I jumped up to 10 in a hurry. So very smooth going in reverse. 2. And 3. So there you have the directional lighting. Looks pretty good, or the directional movement I should say looks pretty good. We'll take a look at lighting next. Wanted to show you the ditch lights and headlight here in the dark. As you can see, this is Norfolk Southern version. So when you hit the horn, oscillating ditch lights. It looks like I'm seeing this across all the different versions, so obviously some roads have different settings for those ditch lights, but the NS oscillates, and that's an NS version here that you can probably see, and that is what we're looking like with the lights off here. Alright, now it's time for final thoughts on this locomotive. I think it's a great representation of the SD70ACe, the only one in N-scale with DCC and sound, straight out of the box to my knowledge, and the detail and the fine details like how thin the handrails are, but how straight they are, they strike a great balance. So many different schemes available, really appeals to most modelers out there. You can get anything you want. It runs very smoothly, forward and reverse, a little fast out of the gate. You can play with CVs to change things like that, but it is smooth on speed step 1, forward and reverse. 2, 3, and 4, it just glides along the track, looks beautiful, operates beautifully, a great product overall. With that said, I'm going to leave you with just a run by of a couple of these real quick that we didn't get to see in action during the testing. We'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care.